Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff. It's a lovely week here. Well, we're pre-recording, just for all audiences because Carlos and myself will be in Bend, Oregon with the Carrot team. But that doesn't mean that we miss an episode of Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff. So, yeah, welcome everybody. I'm here with Brandon from TED Systems and Operations and Carlos from Investors Using Carrot. How's it going, guys?
Good. Vibing. Got a full few days here of the new reverse osmosis machine water. I'm pumped on, kind of leading with pulse of the week.
Yeah, how's it
Crazy.
working?
It's cool. I guess there's like a scale of like how much minerals are in your water, like 0 to 500. Like 50 and below is like the type of water like Papa P is typically drinking, and we've also drank on episodes as well, like the real clear spring water. The Florida water here, if I do it no filter, is like 300 range, which makes it like barely drinkable, like no filter. The single filter in my fridge drops it down to like 250, 200 range, which is still like not great quality, but still like drinkable. And then with the reverse osmosis, it's down like 20 and under, which is
how do you
really
measure
cool.
this?
Some type of TDS meter that's in the machine.
Oh,
They have
that
other
came
ones
with
that
the
you-
machine.
It comes with the machine, yeah.
Okay.
And then you can buy them. You can buy them separately too. So like if you wanted to test like the spring water, like the Mountain Valley water or the Topo Chico water, it would be like under 10 probably, like completely pure with just like some essential minerals in there.
Interesting.
But it's awesome. I'm loving it. And then I also got a similar thing for the shower head, just so the water comes out nice and pure. So working on some foundational health quality things. That's pretty cool. Firing me up.
It's amazing because when I was a kid, I used to drink out of a fucking faucet, like a fucking hose. And then really, I don't ever actually remember drinking water per se, other than memories at like football practice or drinking out of a hose. Or I don't ever remember until my 30s saying, gotta have a water bottle or I need water. I just don't know how I survived for 30 some years. Like I can't remember like in high school. I don't remember just like water. I drank soda and milk, and I'm not saying it was healthy, but now I can't even imagine. Like I went, where was it? Took my daughter out. We went to Disney Springs, and I left my water bottle, my Yeti, in the car, and within
Your
like
dog
30
died.
minutes, I died. And then their water's like $7 for like a fucking Aquafina or something. But yeah, and I was thinking about that. And so anyway, yes, we do. Significant investment in our waters is important. As we get older, we understand that it is not alcohol that is the adult drink. The real adult drink is water. I was fooled as a kid to think, man, when I grow up, I can't wait to drink liquor. No, can't wait to drink some quality water and get some solid sleep.
I literally been thinking about that, dude. You're an inspiration for doing like dry January and really not much of a desire to drink like this year at all. Like I'm just not looking forward to feeling worse the next day. But I was literally fired up like today, just thinking of like some networking events or future dinners. Like everybody's like getting like mixed drinking cocktails or beer, or wine, or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what?
Fancy water.
I'm gonna get one of those, like a nice Aquapana. Like just they have like those little bottles at restaurants. Oh,
ultimate flex. Ultimate flex is to be just walking around with your glass bottled water and just And the real water, wealthy water, is carbonated. Just so you know, only broke people drink plain water. You got to add that carbonation in when you're out, just to let people know that you don't F around.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love that. It's funny too. I mean, I know this pulse of the week's getting a little extended, but it's funny like the day and age that we're in entrepreneurship, which I love. There's such a focus on like health and wellness and working out and everything like that. There's people that go full like biohacking or just put an importance on water, like us three Florida men do. It's funny seeing like the Hormozy and the Dan Martell, where Dan Martell's like, dude, I don't care about water. I'm not putting that in my head.
I drink out of a tap.
His
use case is interesting. Yeah.
I'll purposely drink out of tap water, and it's just going to grow my immune system. So it's like funny seeing that perspective too, and it's just interesting.
It's to bring it full circle to real estate. It's the same concept. I saw this guy post, and I was like, this is legit. It's like your immune system, but in real estate, it's like, you know what? I am going to refinance my 3.5% mortgage back out at a 7% to bring my payment higher, so it forces me to hustle harder. And
Somebody said that?
That's savage.
it was a joke, but yeah, like I was like, yeah, dude, it's like the ultimate fucking hustle harder. I'm purposely make my monthly nut even harder, so that way I have to work harder to make that bottom line.
Right. That's like somebody saying, like, I'm going to sign up for a pay per lead provider and just never call anybody. Just take it out of my account.
Yeah, just motivate me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PPL. Anyway, yeah, so I was watching, I was looking on Instagram, as I always do, as I'm a doom scroller,
On the
and
gram.
I saw a couple posts that were intriguing. Um, it all kind of centered around the quote unquote guru type of thing, and one of it was where Ryan Dossey, of more famously known for his ballpoint marketing, ads and just his product itself. He kind of said something that John and I have been talking about for a while now. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on this podcast, and it's just something as people in software understand, where Ryan kind of laid out and he said, and I know Carlos, you saw this post because I saw that you liked it down there. I'm stalking you, and I saw that you hearted this baby, and it was like he goes, you people, like referring to the community of wholesalers in general, will follow a guru, and immediately when they give you some sexy pitch about this new software they've invented that helps them with this, whether in this instance it's AI, right? AI tool that I've invented, sign up for my course and my training, and you get this tool and sign up for the, all that. And he's like, and then you'll use it, and then the second you see someone else advertise something, you'll cancel and go you buy what they have to sell. And he's like, what you guys don't realize is it's all the same product. They're just white labeling, that the majority of gurus don't actually have a product. They're just out there white labeling something called Really Flow. And there's a couple of them out there, we all know Go High Level, or more famously Podio, right? Like that's probably the most famous one, that people are like, I invented a CRM, and then it's just Podio with their custom flows, or it's just Go High Level with a logo on it, or in this case, it's Really Flow with a different logo and a website name. And I just thought it was interesting because he's like, one, this Really Flow itself is pretty good. I've seen it, I've used it, it's good product. And he's like, one, it's a great product to use, but it's been around forever. And yes, they added this new little, I guess, some type of AI button onto there that it figures stuff out for you. One, it's not real AI. And two, it's like, it's not the guru, he didn't invent it. But my problem, and that's kind of just ad-libbing what he said, summarizing in a way, but my problem is the way people pitch it. So like I got not had, but like I already had bought this person since I joined this guy's mastermind. And I remember he's like, I have spent so much time and effort creating this tool. And listen, man, like I got no problems with this guy. He's a great guy. He's a legit businessman, real estate guy. My problem is the way that these people pitch it. Instead of being honest, they act like they did any work. And that bothers me as a software guy. And it's like, oh, and he's like, I've spent so much time and effort, me and my team, to create this for you guys and provide it to you, provide value for our community. Da 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 da. I'm finally happy that it's getting released after so much blah 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 time it took to get it going. And it's like, and I remember I showed it to John because I was excited. I'm like, oh my
He was
goodness,
so excited. He was
bro,
so
this is so
excited.
sweet. I'm using it. And then John goes, yeah, that's just Really Flow. And I'm like, what? It was like the moment I found out Worldwide Wrestling
Santa Claus
was
I was
fake.
gonna say Santa, yeah.
Yeah, WWE was fake, and I remember going, no. And my parents going, yes. And that was kind of it. And like, one, it didn't detract from the product itself because Really Flow is a good product. It's just like, where do we draw the line on these people acting like they created something? All you had to say was, hey, listen, we brought on this other service provider, we're going to provide it for value for the community or sell it to you with our own spin to it. But you didn't create anything. You didn't spend years in dev dollars and like make the mistakes to come up with a product that you had to like edit, and you didn't do any of that. And that's where what I resonated with what Ryan was saying, because it's a counter to me firsthand, where I thought somebody created something, and then it actually went all the way back to when people were white labeling Roar, pretending that they
Oh,
had
yeah,
their
yeah,
own
yeah.
RVM and SMS software. That was probably the first time I encountered it, and I think actually it was John who pointed out once again that that was Roar. But yeah,
Good times.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm not in any other industry, so I don't know if this is in other industries. Maybe it's just ours, but like, you know, people who are gurus, let's call them gurus, right? Or they, have a mastermind or whatever. Um, they get really good at marketing, and
yeah,
unfortunately, it seems like they lean more into the lying side of it more than like the truth side of it. And it's just like, well, if I'm going to make a pitch, and I mean, you could read this, right? Like, if you go read like any of what's his face, .com secrets, all of his books, like
Russell
he tells
Brunson.
you, Russell Brunson, thanks
Russell
you.
Brunson.
He tells you like make a story, right? You got to put in
Yeah.
like impact, and you got to put in feeling.
Yeah.
It's way more like convincing if you walk up there and tell somebody like, hey, like I've spent years building this, like I've stayed up at night trying to figure out the best solution, versus like I found a great product and I'm using it. So I mean,
Yeah, but that's
if they're
extremely.
focused on sales, and I mean, maybe it's just like they need to be honest in general, and I think that's honestly why Ryan Dossey is being pretty
I think that's all
successful and
he's
has grown.
saying.
Yeah,
All he's saying is, yo, just know the truth because they won't tell you the truth. So, like,
right.
here is the truth. Like, they didn't create this. So, if you're going to buy it knowing that it's not theirs. They didn't, they're not as smart as they try to be. Like, that's the thing, is everyone wants to brag. This is my problem with this industry. Everyone wants to brag about them not being smart enough, and this is it. Most of them say, I wasn't smart enough to graduate high school. I wasn't smart enough to go to college. There's so many gurus, like, I wasn't even smart enough to succeed as a realtor. But I am a great businessman and I make a lot of money. So they downplay the need for intelligence to succeed, but then they want to pretend they're intelligent enough to create a product that it needs intelligence to be created from the ground up. And they want to feign intelligence when they made their bones bragging about how they didn't need to be smart to make a lot of money. And I feel like there's a contradiction there. And that's what pisses me off.
I mean, it's not easy to build a piece of software. I've done it
Trust me.
for 7 years.
I'm
Like,
still trying. It's like, and it is. It's like it's tough because you spend all that time in doing it, and then someone almost belittles it down to a point of like, oh, like I created this, and you're like, no.
No, I created something. You just had a business dev conversation, and they stuck your logo on something and put it on a custom domain.
And there's nothing wrong with white labeling. So in certain contexts, right, like, if I'm gonna white label a product, so my customers, right, let's say I'm like I have like an accountant, right? Like, so my accountant uses a software called TaxDome, and he refers to it as log into my portal, like log into our software, and I'm going to send you a link to our thing. He doesn't say log into TaxDome or log into this other company's. He uses his, but I've used multiple CPAs that use TaxDome. But again, I get what he's saying. I'm not buying into his product because of his software, right? He's just providing me a software to communicate and do all that. And yes, it's his. In a sense, there's a difference than pitching me on a product to sell me into the product on a lie, saying that you created it. And I think there's a big difference there that needs to be pointed out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's an issue for sure. The funny thing or the ironic thing is like whatever his end goal was, like if he's backing out like how much software sales he made, he'd probably make the same or more or close enough in that range if he was just authentic and said like the pitch that you have.
I don't think anyone would give a shit.
Yeah, no one gives a shit. They like it. And Ryan is kind of like a crusader type in the industry with like the content he pulls out, like kind of rooting for the guy or gal that's signing up for content and is like really
it's a personal affront to him from somebody who actually did the work.
Exactly.
It's a personal affront to anybody when someone tries to shortcut it.
Yeah. And he had a hilarious video too that I may have mentioned this one specifically where it's like someone's like on the street like dying and someone's like, here, I'll save you, just use my affiliate link, and they're like stabbing him. Like,
yeah.
Have you seen that one? That one's hilarious. We had to get the other half of the Dossey brothers on, and Ryan. We'll have to get him on the podcast.
No, but I know what you're saying with the affiliate link thing. And again, there's no problem with the affiliate link. Everyone uses it. It's the one that got me when it came out was the prop stream one.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot, everyone's like, my list pool, bro, it's not yours. just because they gave you a URL and a fancy photo with your thing on it. And that was the thing for a while in the beginning. Everyone was like, this is my list generating, my list pooling software, my secret this. And it's like, no, bro, it's just prop stream. I'm like, I'll use your link, dude. Just be like, hey, man, be cool since I brought you onto this. If you just use my link here, this is how I get paid to provide all this value for you. And I'd be like, respect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why do they feel like they can't be honest with that, though? Is it just because everybody else is doing it?
I wonder if it's coaching. Yeah, I wonder if it's kind of like for lack of a better term, like a herd mentality.
Because they seem smarter when they say they created something, and that's my problem is they act like you don't need it, and you don't need to be smart to succeed. I fully agree with that. But then they want to get that intelligence credibility by saying they created something so genius that everybody needs it. And like genius ain't easy, bro. Trust me. It ain't easy.
Preach.
It ain't easy to create something, and that's where I think Ryan comes from, or I come from, and it's where a lot of regular real estate operators come from when they're calling out people with coaching programs that pretending that they bought or flipped or wholesaled 6 figures a month. It's the same concept. It's the same concept, just flipping the script on the topic or the product. And none of us like it over there, and I don't think it's good over on this side of the fence either. I think it's a crock of shit.
Yeah. There, like I think we talked about how there needs to be like a done by humans and versus like done by AI badges. Like there should be like this is true, like a truthometer for offers that people give.
I don't buy this whole AI thing.
What AI thing?
Like AI is legit. Like I get it. It's a real thing. Elon Musk just imprinted Neuralink into someone's head. He's got
did he?
Yeah, he finally first human trial. He's got humanoid robots. We got Chat GPT. We got like fucking sex bots in Japan. Like I get it. These things are real and existing, but the majority of the products for real estate that people are coming out with are not AI. It's just like smart automations. It's not real AI.
Like there are people saying that things are AI and they're
it's
not
just
AI
automations.
And machine learning is not AI as well, for the record.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually.
Set the record straight, gentlemen.
Machine learning is like, and that's what like the original kind of AI used to be, right? When you would have conversational bots and like they would look for key phrases and then based if they find this key phrase and they give this response, right? Like that's machine learning. Because you're helping the machine get better by giving it a designed way to learn. AI is the next step in evolution of that, but yeah, so many people are saying like this feature is AI, and
it's just like it scores your buyers for you or scores your leads, and it's like AI scoring tool. It's a fancy term. It's the
it's the hot button. But people in the same vein of principle, people use that in an attempt to sell more efficiently, whatever their product
right. It is a marketing tactic.
It's a white label. Yeah, whether they're saying it's a product that they built from scratch versus like white labeling something else, or saying like a feature is AI. Yeah, it's too much to the point, but that's kind of how things go in ebbs and flows. But it's annoying to the point of people that make decisions just solely based off if you have quote unquote AI. It's just too much.
I don't use AI. I don't use AI. I mean, I do. I'm writing my investor letter for our park. So I had to write 2 letters for the 2 parks that we actually had at the end of last year. And guess what I did? I threw it into Chat GPT.
That's what Chat GPT is good for.
Yeah, it makes me look smarter. Like, is that deceptive? Like, I'm pretty sure when I send it out to people that know me, I know whenever I have my wife read stuff and I'll be like, hey, check out this business plan I wrote for the new park we're buying. She goes, did you already run this through AI? And I was like, yeah. She goes, because it sounds really succinct, because I just blabber in my writing and it sounds like a train of thought of randomness. And then AI condenses it and it sounds professional with big words. So she knows, because she knows me, that's not Brandon typing anything. That's ChatGPT.
Yeah. I mean, we're having this struggle at Investor Views. I mean, I think Carlos, you could speak to it better, but like we've gone through waves of other competitors out there. Like I remember at the very beginning, it was like custom Podio build outs, right? People saying I built this, and that's a little bit of truth, but you built it visually on a piece of software, and the bones.
The automations are yours, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, but.
And then I mean, I think too, like REI Black Book used to white label back in the day. I don't know if they still do, but that was one too that we would compete with. But Go High Level is the one that like today, and Salesforce, right, are the two kind of things out there that we have to compete with on a regular basis. Like, what do you say to those customers that you speak to in the sales process, Carlos? They're like, how do you compare to a Salesforce or a Go High Level kind of system?
I'm glad you brought up Salesforce. I wanted to bring it up just for like some SaaS pulse of the week between us three gentlemen
I know
and
how I
viewers.
would solve it. Let's see what Carlos says, and then I'll
I want
tell
to
you
bring
what I
something
would
up
say.
before even solving that, but I think just a quick pulse update. I'm talking to someone that's probably going to sign up for Investor Fuse. That's a solo person, has like a VA that does some lead gen stuff like cold calling. Might be an Investor Fuse, might not. For Salesforce, which I gave them credit at least left main, which I don't even know if it's possible to mask that you're on Salesforce.
I don't think you
Like,
can.
I don't
yeah,
think
so
so.
maybe like they can't even do it. Like they don't say that they're built. They
I
can't say
don't.
that they're
They
not
don't.
built on
I've
Salesforce.
never. I've never. Left main is always like left main built on Salesforce or left main
Yeah.
Palo
So
Yeah.
they
Alto.
lean into it. I don't know if they
Yeah,
have the ability to
I think
mask it or not.
it's a good sales pitch to lean into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can utilize. That's their positioning. Is hey,
Yeah,
we're the
yeah.
only tool that's on Salesforce,
Yeah,
even though there's
exactly.
there's one that maybe
There's
20
no
gets more
need to lie.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lean into it.
But their pricing, this is just crazy. Someone who should be signing up for Investor Fuse. For a one person, guess how much the setup fee is, the one
Five
time
grand.
setup fee?
5 grand.
$7,000 now for
$7,000.
one
Okay.
person. Yeah.
What?
Like that's just I don't know how they like it's overkill already for so much of the industry, but just a solo person that's
You don't need all that shit,
focused on
dude.
cold calling, it's a lot. How I position it versus the Go High Level. One thing that's nice with us is we are really the most niche CRM specifically for real estate investors marketing for their own off market deals. So even when people hear that and understand that, like the gentleman I spoke to today that already has he's a solo person but wants to hire 2 or 3 people in the next couple months. So you get to explain what it looks like for them now and then potentially when they bring people on for routing leads, managing follow up, distributing follow ups and actions moving forward and such. Um, but we are the most niche platform for real estate investors. I'm very confident in that. And the Go High Level, the one feature that they have is the integration with CloseBot, which is quote unquote AI that he assumes he's overseas. So it's like night. It's probably 10 o'clock at night for him if he's
Mhm.
overseas right now. But his concern and what he sold on from the AI propaganda that's in the space the last year is that he needs AI to just be able to talk to his leads nonstop, just text conversations back and forth with his
That's
leads.
interesting. So he's not doing much yet.
No, he has it set up where PPC leads can come in, but he's not running any campaigns or anything.
And so he has been convinced through just his research into this space that he needs AI. Do you think everybody's doing that, thinking that, or just him because he's like, I am like sleeping when
Him a
the
little bit
United
more
States is
from him
awake?
a little bit more from time zone and also lack of people that he has on his team, people to
Yeah.
leverage on his team to do follow up. So him
Interesting.
a little bit more on that side, just because the time zone. But I
Yeah.
think everybody has like the former Investor Fuse guy that I mentioned before we went live is like not coming back, like loves everything about Investor Fuse, the ability to manually talk to someone with a sequence, which is that's how I framed it this morning. Go high level versus us. Go high level with CloseBot AI automation, talking to your leads text. Dude, leads like it might be convenient to text, but at some point they're generally going to much more appreciate getting on the phone with somebody and
Mm-hmm.
talking to somebody through an offer, through what the process looks like to work with you, how they came across their offer, how they're comping your property, XYZ. So I was explaining to him how in depth the sequences could go because he also came to the call thinking like, oh, you guys can't do like long term drip sequences, right? Like you could just do a text message when the lead first comes in. I'm like, oh no, you can have sequences, drip campaigns going 2+ years. So then I showed him that some examples of like a ringless voicemail, then a text 2 minutes later saying, hey, good morning, this is Carlos. Just sent a voicemail your way, or just left a voicemail with you. You know, that type of stuff, and then mainly framing, especially because he's going to do PPC. I'm like, dude, you don't want to just text a lead once when a lead comes in from PPC or text it once and then again an hour later. You probably want to manually call the person like 3 to 5 times. Like Papa P, if you had a lead come in, an expensive lead come in, a PPC quality lead, would you be cool just texting it like
I
once
do
and then,
five touches.
yeah,
I'll do a minimum of a double tap call, maybe even 3, but I'll do a double tap call, and then I'll do so I do a text message initially letting them know that I'm going to call, then a double tap call if they don't pick up, then another text message letting them know while I'm sorry, I fucked up again. Because I do a text message letting them know I'm going to call, and an email letting them know I'm going to call. Then I do a double tap call. Then I'll text them letting them know that I called and they didn't pick up, and let's schedule a time to talk. And I also send an email again letting them know that I tried calling and that, hey, let's schedule a time that's better for you to talk. So what is that? That's 2, 4, 6 touches within like 5 minutes of the lead coming in. And then if maybe later on in the day, if it's a morning, I'll try calling again. But typically those 5 or 6 touches will be it for me. And I usually get a pretty good response rate from that, unless it's a fake lead or a bad number or something like that. Somebody, the email or the text usually works.
Love that. So that's the way to overcome the objection in that specific feature, or how I did this morning, just like emphasizing manual follow-up versus delegating everything to AI.
It's like it's the shotgun approach of like mass marketing.
Yes, it's like the new.
It's not bad, but you got to know there's going to be cracks. Like if it's like RVMs.
Yes.
I could leave an individual voicemail, or I could drop 1,000 voicemails and see which ones stick. Same thing with AI. I can have a bazillion combos without me doing it. Some it'll work for, some it won't, some stick, some don't. I'm still burning a lot of my data, so I'm not a fan of it. I mean, all I was going to say, Carlos, was my thing for Investor Fuse versus Salesforce or Go High Level. And not so much for Go High Level because I know you could customize it, but it's, again, you're confined by a box. And the people who have your CRM on Go High Level or on Salesforce have no say as to the abilities of that product. They can never change it. They are confined by what the main company, Salesforce Go High Level, is allowing their software to do. Same thing with ReallyFlow. There's an amount that could be adjusted, and the rest they're just going to throw their hands up. Whereas with Investor Fuse, if you want something and it's a good idea, they will put it in. Take it from a guy who's helped them, and they've helped me.
Send John the right scotch.
Yeah.
He will do it.
After we just got done talking about not drinking.
I'm sorry.
Apparently, John's an alcoholic.
Hey, you can send it without
I said the right scotch.
He's British.
I
and that's
said
what
the
they
right
do over there.
scotch. I didn't say like send me a 24-pack of beer. Right?
Send him some tea and biscuits.
Yeah, you can send him alcohol without drinking.
You're British.
No, stop.
Wait, are you Wales? Are you Wales? No, you're British.
Welsh, I think is what you meant to say.
I was going to say.
Are you Wales?
I am British. I am British.
Welsh is British, though.
Well, we're glad to have you here in Florida, the greatest country in the U.S.
That's right, the greatest country in the U.S.
And I'm glad to be here.
No, I agree with that, right? And it's funny, you talked about at the very beginning of the episode, like how you got disenchanted or like fooled. I got fooled too with Go High Level. So the first time I ever saw Go High Level, I don't know, 4 years ago maybe. And it was a customer of ours who we'd met in person, had great rapport with, and he came to us and said, "Hey guys, I built this new piece of software to help generate leads for businesses."
Texting, wasn't it? Wasn't that like texting? Yeah.
And it was a prospecting texting kind of tool that would, like, using machine learning, follow up with leads. And so he showed it to us. And I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Look at all of these like different features he has.
How much dev time did you put into that?
Well, so, and he did say that he spent money on customizing it a little bit. I don't know what that means.
Just like you would in Podio.
Yeah. And I think he said that it was a lot of money. But ultimately, like he's not found success. Like he's done well, but only from an agency model, right? Like he can't really get end users into the product that he built on Go High Level because it's too confusing for the average wholesaler to know how to navigate around and use for marketing. But he will come into your business and say, I'll run your marketing for you. And I'll take these leads that I have generated in Go High Level using these features and send it into your CRM. And so that was interesting, but I got fooled, right? Like I was just, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. How did he build all of this? Like, and he's been one of our customers. How dare he compete with us and build a CRM? But eventually to be found, it's just Go High Level.
Like, so I'm always torn because, like, I get you got to start somewhere.
Mhm.
But like I go back, so Dan Martell is a very huge software SaaS guy. He does a lot of coaching. Carlos and John know him. In fact, they're the ones who turned me on to him, and I started listening to his stuff. And I forget who he was talking to or interviewing, but he basically said white labeling isn't SaaS. You have
No.
no product to sell. No one. He goes, I have never heard of, or nor do I know. And this was probably like a year ago's podcast or whoever he was interviewing. I've never heard of or known any company that white labels to actually be acquired. And he goes,
Mhm.
maybe it'll happen. But he's like, and I guess he's got like an incubator, kind of like a, what do you call it? Like a mastermind of
Oh,
some
yeah.
variation. And he's got some white labelers in there, like growing their brand. But again, he's like, I've said to them, like, it's not a SaaS product. And I don't think he even wanted them in there. If that's a thing, like,
It wouldn't
yeah,
surprise me if he didn't want them in
yeah, and
there.
he said somebody, his partner or somebody, convinced him that like it's a legit product. The interview was quite interesting, but what I took from it is like, yeah, it's not. And one, I've never been one to white label. I've always had an idea and I've tried to like get it from the ground up. But I do understand if you want proof of concept. But like you have to like, but then when you make that money, right? So you have this idea. It's easier for you to build it on Podio first. Case in point is investor views. You
Yeah.
build it on Podio first or on Go High Level, and then you're like, okay, this works. I have people who want to use it. Now I'm constricted by this platform I've built on. Now let me go create a product for real. I take all that money and that subscription revenue I have coming in, and instead of me spending it all, right? I now dump it into devs, product management, and product development, and I create a real product. I don't think anybody would talk shit on somebody who took that route.
No.
It's more of the fact that they never go to that level because I don't think they have the ability. What I learned the hard way, John knows this.
Takes a special person to build a product.
It's one thing to have the idea, and
Yeah.
it's a complete other thing to product manage slash develop that product. There are so many different skill sets involved, and like, not
Not
just
an
because
easy
you're.
job.
It's not. It's engineering in a sense. Like you're managing these engineers, and they speak a different language than say a big visionary, and that's I think why Steve Jobs had Wozniak, right? Like there's just a different mind.
Mhm. Yep. Takes two to tango.
The guy this morning, now thinking of it, when I pulled up a share screen, he goes, "Oh, is this Go High Level? This
Yep.
looks
Of
exactly
our
like
app?
it." Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Papa P may not. Oh no, Papa P's iPhone. He's just not MacBook. But a lot of things that I'm
I'm
testing
switching
now.
back to Samsung, but yeah.
Are you?
Ugh.
Oh gosh. A lot of things that I test now is when I'm explaining the newer Investor Fuse interface. I say it's very much like a MacBook or iPhone, and that's also how the system is, like just very simple and intuitive. Like it doesn't have your accounting software or like build landing pages inside of it, but it's very simple, easy to use, easy to train your team on,
Mhm.
and getting the most out of the squeeze. Like, would you rather have your team using the tool 10 out of 10 to its capacity, or have something that's an all-in-one that they're using it 2 or 3 out of 10 and not fully
Yeah.
using it? Another thing I just
That's
want to say is for the AI point is I want to get a hat that says "Make manual follow up cool again." I feel like I'm I feel like I'm John. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
John Connor in Terminator 2, trying
Yeah,
to get rid of
dude,
all these AI
I'm right
machines
there
and
with
give
you,
people a
dude.
manual follow up. That
I
should be
think
our campaign
manual
2024. Manual follow up.
manual follow-up's the only way. I mean, when we were on that Carrot Cast, that's what I
Smooth
was
follow up.
talking to
Yeah,
Tom Ford, right? Tom Ford,
Tyler
uh,
Ford,
Tyler Ford. Tom Ford's the
the
clothing company,
designer.
right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
clothing
okay.
designer.
Props to him. That's a good
Hey, if you were
good
talking to
mix
him,
up.
that's cool
Yeah,
though. Definitely,
yeah,
let's get
yeah.
him on the show. Billionaire,
Um,
probably.
but that's what we were talking about is I was having a problem with automation saying I just don't like them. I
Mhm.
prefer like my manual and it's a lot more. And Tyler Ford said it was kind of like this cross between manual and automation. So like even those emails and texts that we were speaking of that I do,
Mhm.
I have them all templated out and smartphone
Mhm.
allows me to template stuff. And same with my email. Like I have like, I don't know, 7 or 8 emails typed up that when a lead comes in, I literally copy paste out of Investor Fuse the address, copy paste the body of the email, copy paste the text, and it's all automated manually for me, and I don't have to type the text or the email every single time. So like there's a mix that you could do, but I still believe in the full control aspect of it rather than trying to have AI, some fancy tool that's been white labeled on AI.
Absolutely. I got a little excited there. Choked on some green tea talking about manually following up with your leads there. But yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And then another thing, this is kind of a sidebar to this, but so often I talk to people that they want to automate their follow-ups or automate something in their acquisitions where they'd be using investor fuse for it. And I talk to them like, this sounds more of like a hiring type issue. Like obviously I'm going to be biased towards investor fuse, and I think you can do this inside of investor fuse, but dude, this sounds like you just need to you need some help. You need to mention Dan Martello, you need to buy back some of your time and just get somebody else in this seat to at least help you out.
Yeah.
Like it might be more of an upfront investment
Yeah.
into your business that
There's
you're
only
spending
so
in your
much
business,
this
but it's
software
like,
could do.
yeah, and that's the
Right.
whole point of software
Right.
is to help you. Like
And
software is here to help you.
it's interesting. Like I feel pressured being like the, whatever product manager of Investor Fuse, that everybody's like, when are we going to get some more AI features in there? And I'm like, so for example, I'm looking over here on my screen. I can't say the names or share my screen, but there's a campaign of leads coming into a customer's Investor Fuse, and they're AI lead managed leads. And so they're leads they're being generated, and then an AI lead manager goes in and warms them up and then sends them in. And I'm looking at it, right? And I'm looking, so far they've gotten like 10 opportunities in the past, like just over like a week. Half of them they can't get on the phone. The other half it's almost like it's like looking at cold call opportunities, right? And we're going to talk about this, or actually by the time this podcast comes out, we would have talked about it, about like the different, like, what's good about different marketing methods, right? And so like inbound and PPC, PPL is great because you get motivated sellers. Like the type of leads I'm looking here that they're using and generating from these AI are like cold call opportunities that are going to take months for them to potentially close.
Don't even get me started.
Right. And so it's like, and I don't get to see the actual AI talking to these leads, so I don't know
But how much are they spending on this AI thing? And that's the thing too, is like,
yeah, that's true.
everything that you do costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand that, and they think that technology is supposed to be this cheap and easy thing to use, and it's not. It's expensive and complex, and especially if you want it to do your job for you, it's kind of like AI is the new VA. Back in the day, everybody.
I like that statement.
AI is the new VA because everybody expects the VA to do all of the work with none of the training and half of the pay, or a tenth of the pay. And people expect the same thing with AI. They expect to pay a tenth of what it should cost, have it do 110% of the work that they were doing, and have them do it without them having to do any oversight, no management, no nothing. And it's like, that's not the case. Just like with VAs, like, they're human. They can only do like maybe 70% of what you could do, and you're only paying them like $5 or $3 or whatever it is. Like, there's a capacity to them. You need to train them. You need to manage them. You need to create a system for them. And no one wanted to do that. They were just like, I need a VA. Go generate leads. And the VA's like, how do I do this? But anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah, and so like I will be bringing more AI features to Investor Fuse, but like I'm taking that at a slow pace. Like people are so enamored with what the idea of AI could be, but I'm telling you, like in reality, it's a lot more complicated to do the things that you're thinking it can do. Like the tech is just not there yet. And so like I want to approach whatever we do with AI and making sure that it's always beneficial to the customer. It's not a shortcut. It's an actual gain, right? I don't want it to be a shortcut or even like less of a surface than if you could manually do it. Like it actually needs to be good and replace. So there will be stuff coming out this year from Investor Fuse, but know that whatever you see is gone through a lot of tests to make sure that it actually does the job well.
I'm with you on that. And anyway, I just thought it was interesting. And then I saw this other post about these gurus. Do you guys follow Baller Busters?
No, I don't even know who that is.
So, Baller Busters, one, I absolutely hate this person because I feel like he's just some dude in his mom's basement, just literally attacking every single person that is flashy or not. Not that I like those people, but I also feel like there's a fine line of just like, bro, who gave you like this
Right?
authority to
Yeah.
claim somebody's a scam or not? But one of the things that he was doing is he posted today, he was like posting screenshots of multiple real estate gurus that are being sued currently. And I know one of them because one of my partners in the deal that I'm doing actually was a part of it and had informed me a while ago that like this person went belly up, everything was like a lie. And I saw it on his page that he's like, listen, and you want to know where it all stemmed from? The
AI
last
conversation
No, before AI, what was the thing every real estate investor was pitching?
before Novations.
Well,
I'm confused about what timeline we're
before
on here.
before AI, it was crypto, and before
Crypto,
Okay.
yeah.
crypto, it
Amazon
was
shops.
e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what they're going after them for is like the fraudulent nature of like their business performance, their experience, their whatever clout they had, whatever they pitched, and they're suing them. And I think of AI as kind of like the same thing, and it's like every time real estate people want to hop on the latest thing that is cool out there, and that's the thing. And stock trading's one of them. And it's like, and everyone always is like, oh man, because I'm great at this, all of a sudden now I'm an expert at this. Here's my course. And it's like, bro, one, like stock traders trading in itself is like it's a 1%er thing.
Yeah.
Like you got to be good. One, you have to be good, you have to be skilled. There's only so much known information. There's a lot of unknown info. The markets are very imperfect, right? And to think that you could just hop in there and start trading options in stocks and win because you have some real estate guy who's created like, and they all
Yeah.
claim they have alert systems and they're partnered with an extreme expert trader and they're mastermind. And it's like, no, bro, no. Like if they were that good of a trader, they're not partnering with some dude who's flipping wholesaling single family houses out of fucking their mom's basement or some shit. That's not how that's happening. Okay. They're on Wall Street. We're completely different levels. And then the e-com thing, as soon as that came out, everybody was like, oh my goodness, I have my own e-commerce brand. And if you saw any of your favorite gurus pop up with any of those things or claim they're doing any of them, that is a surefire sign that you need to run in the other direction because they're just marketing and pitching you off of the brand they built from maybe the one thing they actually made money at, and then they took it to the next level. And you're just going along for the ride.
And how many of them are actually still doing those businesses or even did actually do them to begin with?
Well, I know the one guy that he had posted is like completely going belly up. Like, I'm pretty sure he lost his houses. He was trying to like save all of his shit. The
Who's
other ones, I have
suing
no
him?
idea.
Like,
I don't know who's suing. I'm probably his investors, bro. Like, I'd have to
okay.
go back to the post, but I know like it's mostly investors. Like, if I don't perform on my stuff, my investors could sue me. They could come after me. They could replace me. They could totally remove me as manager of these things, even though I started them. But obviously, that's not going to happen. But they have authority and power to do that because I made promises to them. And so just because you put a little disclaimer there that says these things are not guarantees, trust me. When it comes down to the little guy or you, the little guy's going to win in the grand scheme of things because the SEC,
We're in America,
the
baby.
government, the SEC, they love to pick on people who have money. So I just thought it was interesting because it goes to the same thing with the software. Everyone's pitching something.
Yeah.
It's like, trust me, if this person had it, he's probably disappeared out of the spotlight for a while to create a new product.
Yes.
And when he comes back with it, you're going to know because you're going to be like, where the fuck is this guy fucking been?
Yeah.
Be afraid of the person who went and hid for 6 months to a year and just did nothing but learn something new. Yeah. And then posting on social media and then just boom, pops up.
Yeah, just all of a sudden pops up with this new product that he has. Yeah, he probably created that maybe with a partner or whatever, but he probably created that from the ground up, and now he's got a legit thing to sell and to share with you, as he probably figured out if it worked or not. But like, I don't know.
I agree.
And a lot of them have the same be wary of super long Instagram captions where it's like, here's why I built this product. Let me tell you a story. Here,
Yeah.
look at this down below, and it's like a finger pointing, and then it's like a huge long thing. My grandfather fought in World War II, and he was looking for ways to automate this, and that's what
Yeah.
led me to making an Amazon store. Now for 40 grand, give me 40 grand, and you'll make a. I mean, the pitches for those were crazy.
They were
I'm glad
crazy.
I
I
didn't
I
put
said
30
no.
grand into that. Yeah, I know. I looked at a few
I
real estate people. I
yeah.
was like, numbers don't make sense here.
No, they
What were
didn't.
they saying?
I was a part of, so I was gonna do the Raphael one, right? And so I remember it
Mhm.
was after I did his thing, and he went and he dropped out of real estate and did e-com. And I know guys who did it and made nothing. But I got on the phone with him and he explained it to me. And I got on the phone with him and his supposed expert partner. I forget the guy's name, whatever. I have no ill will towards any of them because I said no. The only thing I remember is when I got off the phone and my wife asked me if we were going to do it or not. I remember saying, it's a phenomenal idea if I was the person who actually created the store and ran the entire thing. It's a phenomenal business concept, but what they're pitching is, it's like it's a fucking ripoff. Like, so you have to pay, and everybody pitched something different, dude. It was like, pay me,
Turnkey Amazon
yeah,
store, like a
turnkey
one-time
Amazon
30K
store.
payment.
You do nothing. You pay me 30K, and I'm making this up. 2/3 of whatever you make, you keep 1/3, or you keep 2/3, I keep 1/3 of whatever we make off the store, or some shit like that, right? And remember thinking like, well, this doesn't add up. And they're like,
Like
well,
a
we have the
pyramid scheme.
VAs, we come up with the products, we handle shipping, we handle blah 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 blah. And I'm like, so I basically front all the money, I do all this, and I'm supposed to guarantee and think that out of all the people you're setting up, you care about my store. Like,
Right.
there can only be so many stores, right? Like, eventually you just have this like flooded market of stores,
Mhm.
and that was the whole pitch. And like, to this day, I try to never. So like, this Christmas I did the same thing. It's The drop shippers are very good at advertising. So like, I'll see
Hmm.
an ad for something, recognize a name that doesn't seem right, and then I'll go like Google it, find the actual website or it on Amazon for like half the fucking price, and I'll be like, oh, I'll buy it directly from the retailer. Thank you for showing me the ad. I did that
Hmm.
multiple times because you know how many times I bought something from a drop shipper that got lost in transit or like never made it or had the order canceled, that like I'm pretty sure I'm still waiting on a fucking blanket.
How do
But
you
yeah,
tell the difference? I'm curious. I buy so
it's
much stuff
the
off Amazon.
you could tell from like the well, Amazon's different. I was talking about like Instagram stuff. You could tell by the name of the website and
Gotcha.
the name of the handle. It's not a legitimate brand.
Hmm.
Luckily, knock on wood, I don't necessarily buy stuff directly off
And I'm
Instagram, but
sure you could
it's
still get got regardless. I
yeah, oh
mean,
yeah. But it's crazy. Like I was even like as I've been looking at just like the water stuff and listening to some Gary Brecka stuff. Like I clicked on one link that he promoted, like directly on Gary Brecka's Instagram, like the hydrogen water, like the little water bottle that adds
yeah, yeah,
hydrogen to your water, just putting it in there. No joke, like every single Facebook on my computer, I had at least like 20 different
yeah, they're
companies,
good,
not the
dude.
same
Yeah.
one.
Not the same one, but the same product, many at different pricings, and
Yeah.
they're all trying to get you to click their link so they could drop ship it to you. And it's
Hmm.
like, and so that was the concept with this e-com stuff. And I think it's wholesaling. It's wholesaling a product.
Yeah.
You could take the same theory, go into Salvation Army or Marshalls or wherever you want to go, like all buy a bunch of like an outlet, buy a bunch of product discounted, list it, mark it up on Amazon, sell it at the retail pricing, and you can make a shit ton of money.
Hmm.
They just tried to do it with VAs, with fake products, virtual products. They tried to scale it by making all their money off the people giving the money to do that. Eventually, it was going to collapse, and it did. Um, Thank God I had my conservative nature for investing and preserving my money said something did not seem right. I still think e-commerce is a phenomenal business idea. I just don't know anything about it, nor have any inclination to get into it, but there is a need in the marketplace for that type of stuff. I get it. It's wholesaling in a different wholesaling industry. It's just
Hmm.
a different
Hmm.
concept.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the idea of like investing or go learn it yourself, right? Like, I mean, you kind of been on that journey yourself, Brandon. Like 2 years ago, you didn't know anything about like owning a mobile home park, and you're trying to get your
Yeah.
third, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you could turn around and kind of make that same kind of offer to people and they could get in on it and, give you the money. But in the end of the day, isn't that just like syndicating money? I guess maybe like if you did it where they got more returns, it's better than syndicating.
Again,
right?
there's funds set up for that type of stuff. Like if I was so good at ecom or trading stocks or options or forex or crypto, like you could go create a fund. When I was doing my fund, my syndication fund, right? Not a fund, a syndication. And I was researching and I was part of a couple groups. I was on these calls. There was guys who were doing the same thing, creating a fund, but for crypto and stuff. And they have X experience. They want to do this. They want to buy that. So like you could legitimately do these things, but you know what you're doing. You're going through the proper channels and you're not trying.
Not a marketing ploy.
Yeah, like I was trying to find the word for it. Whereas the ecom stuff was all marketing ploy. And again, it's like they have a brand and they manipulate their brand viewers to believe that they're an expert in that. But nobody becomes an expert overnight. And just because I say I have a partner that is an expert still doesn't make me the expert.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, I was thinking about it, reflecting on my career the other day. And before Investor Fuse, I partnered with a wholesaler, and we created a product, and it was that exact same situation. He would pitch me to his audience as like, "There's this expert I know, and we built a CRM on Podio, and if you want it, then you can get it." It's all the same kind of thing. That's what they do. They go find somebody.
The difference
who knows more.
The difference is John knows more than me, but like me and him are actually partners in REI Op Center, and although he's smarter than me, I am learning and participating and doing and building and we're doing. I'm not building. I'm not coding anything. That was the wrong term. Please don't think that I have any ability to do that. But you know what I mean. Like, and that's the difference. And I don't like. When we do our webinars for our App Center, I'm not over here going, "Oh, I have this expert. Like, this is what makes this great." That's not the pitch, right? Like, no, we're partners. And yeah, there's a huge learning curve that was involved. But that's not it, man. Like, these guys literally, they're wholesaling one day. And then their next post tomorrow is like, "I've mastered this other thing. Tap in and join my option trading program, and you're gonna get this. Look at this flex. I made a light $200 today."
The vertical we are in will never cease to give us things to talk about on these Friday shows.
I just wonder if it's like this in other.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I would love to go like into another vertical and see.
Somebody I was talking to, was it? Somebody I was talking to was saying day trading. Was that you and me, Carlos?
That was me. Yeah.
Day traders.
Yeah, kind of tracks the same
traders. Yeah,
it kind of tracks the same audience of somebody, which I still think it's cool. And there are successful people that like are in both, like real estate investing and day trading. When I was laid up right after ACL surgery, I was in bed like 6 hours a day in a machine. So I was just on my iPad, either watching Entourage or some educational videos. So I was looking into option trading. Still am, and still talk to some people that do it. But it is definitely not a passive thing. Like you could log in for a couple hours during the day. There's a lot of research that goes into it, and it's 99%. 99% of people are not. But also, that's the same thing with wholesaling.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with wholesaling.
I wanted to be a day trader when I was younger, coming out of college. But ultimately, what made my decision on real estate was the controllables. What I could control. I believe day traders could control their emotion and control their system and make money, because I believe there's ways for them to do that. But I control everything with real estate, and that's what more I like, the control aspect of real estate versus options and stocks and forex. That I had no control over the guy running the company. And I'm not saying like if I wasn't like Carl Icahn or like George Sir, like you're that rich, like then you have control over the CEOs maybe, but like not at my level. I wasn't controlling it, and I didn't like it. And I found real estate instead.
But here we are talking on a Friday.
We are on a Wednesday, pre-recorded. But yeah, options is interesting, and it tracks the same crowd, because it's like you can create 20 grand out of thin air almost in one day, or like you can complete a 20K transaction that comes into your bank account. Like even like the drop shipping stuff. I guess if you're doing enough volume, you could, but that's such a low margin thing. If you're selling Ninja
But it's the
Turtle action
brand, man. They'll
figures.
get you because of the brand and the flash, and they'll get. I remember I was helping a kid. I was helping this kid, and he's actually one of the guys named, not the kid, but the guru he wanted to take the course from, is actually one of the people here for the ecom stuff and everything that's getting sued. Anyway, I was just coaching him for free. I met him and I wasn't even coaching. I was giving him advice. I was helping him, hopping on calls, telling him scripts, all kinds of stuff. And 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 I remember like, and he had asked me, he's like, "Do you want any money?" I'm like, "No, dude. Like, I just want to see you succeed. Let's just do this. Like, the only thing you could do is to shout me out, give me props. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely trying to build my brand, so that would be good." So anyway, long story short, we got on a call and he's like, "Oh man, I just signed up for so and so's course and I dropped $5,000."
I remember
And
this.
he's like, and he spent all this money and now he's trying to do all this shit that this guy wants him to do. And so I was like, ultimately, like, dude, listen, when there can't be two cooks in a kitchen, what I do is different than what he does. I was like, I don't really know him or what he does, but if he's telling you to do something, you spent $5,000 on it, you should go do it his way. Long story short, months went by, the mastermind expired, like your course expires after 3 months or 6 months. He got nothing out of it. Nothing. And at that point I was like, "All right, that's on you, dude." Like, I mean, I saw it coming. The guy doesn't operate anything. He hopped on it as a bandwagon. He was from another industry, hopped into wholesaling as a bandwagon. Then when that was dried up, hopped into e-com as a band. You know what I mean? Just keeps doing shit.
Yeah.
And people, he charged $5,000. People gave him the money, and then your thing expires. And I heard Pace Morby talking about that too, and I thought that was interesting. Like how his mastermind, there is no expiration. Like once you join, you're in the community. And he was like, "What
Especially
I
the
always."
mastermind with expiration is weird.
It's stupid because, and that's what Pace was saying. I was watching this video of him, and he's like, it doesn't make sense. He's like, it takes people like 1 to 2 years to really understand and start making money, but you've kicked them out in 6 months or a year before they've really made money. And then when they do start making money, they're no longer part of your community, and it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
No.
But that's what people do. Your money expires. They want you to re-up with them.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this fun conversation on your Friday, our Wednesday here. But send some warm thoughts to Carlos and I as we'll be freezing in the frigid Northwest.
Yeah. Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it.
We'll try. And make sure you go to links.letstalkrealestate.tv and click to our YouTube page and follow us there and subscribe. Turn on those notifications because we'll be here Friday chatting you up. Have a great rest of whatever time frame it is.
Lock and load. Lock and load.
See you guys.